Canelo comes out and does what Canelo should do, Canelo wins the fight. If Canelo comes out and does what he shouldn't do, Crawford wins the fight.
But with Crawford, what are Crawford's keys to victory when you are fighting someone like Canelo, who, albeit maybe not in height, but in stature, is a much bigger man than him?
Control the center of the ring.
What do you think about Terence Crawford calling out Canelo?
You know, I don't like that fight.
I say Terence win. Yes.
What? Terence win over Canelo?
Yes. Terence.
As Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have agreed to a major bout, the boxing world is ablaze with predictions. Numerous boxing legends and commentators have shared their thoughts on how this fight might go.
Crawford throwing his hat in to want to fight Canelo at 168.
I mean, everybody wants to fight Canelo. It's a money fight, you know what I mean? I think even Inoue would come up to fight Canelo. Canelo wanted to fight him. I mean, I don't want to see Crawford to fight Canelo, to be honest with you. But it would be. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a great fight. It would be a great fight. But I feel like if I deserve my opportunity, and and after this fight, what else are they gonna say? You know what I mean? This was a tough fight. You know, the top people ranked at the WC are fighting each other. So I mean, it should be an easy call. If I can't get those fights, then I'll go up to fight Bivol, or I'll go try to I set my conquest on 175. Like I said, I don't want no handouts either. I want to earn my spots everywhere I go, even at 175. But I see that weight class. I want to become champion at 175, and that's exactly what I'm.
And the views are divided. Some people think Crawford has a genuine chance of winning because of his abilities, while some contend that Canelo's strength and size will be too much to handle. Boxing legend Mike Tyson opposes a fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, arguing that Crawford's size and awkwardness caused him to struggle against Israel Madoff.
Potential fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
How do you see that fight? Who
I
do you
like Terence. It's my friend, but it's crazy man. Listen, I say Terence win. Yes.
What? Terence win over Canelo?
Yes, Terence win. But listen, Terence, it's different man. Terence work in two stojka.
Two sides.
Two sides.
Right.
And
switch hitter.
Yes.
He's a switch hitter.
Yes.
Right and left. But it's very smart man. It's very, very, very smart. But feel distance and place.
Adjustments.
Spacing,
Exactly.
boxing.
You don't think the weight difference will be a factor too much?
Mario, you're asking him?
That's why. That's why I'm asking exactly.
But, Canelo big, Canelo too. It's a good boxer, but I say Terence.
Wow.
That it would be foolish to fight Alvarez at 168 pounds. David Novowitz has a very interesting perspective on this fight. He thinks Terence Crawford has a good chance of winning because he has the work ethic and skills mindset to defeat Canelo. However, Benitez acknowledges that he doesn't really want this fight to happen, pointing out that Canelo is the money fight and everyone wants a chance at him. But Crawford moving up that much in weight is something that he personally doesn't agree with.
Others say no, that's two more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So
Alexander Usyk, a master technician, sees this fight as a battle between skill and size. He acknowledges that Canelo's natural size will play a part in the fight, but Usyk is placing his faith in skills over size, believing that Crawford will have the advantage because Crawford is the sharper and more technically gifted boxer. Another legend who has made a prediction about this fight is Roy Jones Jr. He sees two possible outcomes.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, you know, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight, or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What he got to prove to Boots? Boots trying to take over, start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he gets the win. Like, oh my.
Either Canelo will win if he is in peak form and fights the way he should, or Terence Crawford will take advantage of him and win for Jones. Junior, the fight will depend entirely on which Canelo performs that evening, that night. Despite acknowledging that Terence Crawford is a tough and tenacious fighter, Sean Porter, who has sparred with him, is apprehensive about whether he will be able to absorb Canelo's power. Porter is well aware of Crawford's physical prowess.
What round does Crawford get knocked out? I'm gonna put 8. Let's put it on the universe. So I'm gonna put it on 8. 8. And if it goes the other way, I 8. You know, I 8. So yeah, Ryan, Joe, Eddie Reynoso also. That'd be cool, man. We all get work. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have our own underground boxing, me and Ryan, before we fight.
But he thinks that even though Crawford is an excellent defensive fighter, it could be difficult to withstand punches from someone like Canelo, who has defeated larger opponents. Amir Khan. Terence Crawford is being explicitly warned by someone who has previously faced Canelo to avoid this fight. Khan is aware of what it's like to be struck by Canelo, and he doesn't think Crawford should take that chance.
I think that should happen. Look, I like Crawford, and I think Canelo is a beast that way. Honestly, I would advise Crawford not to do that.
Canelo versus Jamel Charlo playing out.
I think Canelo just outboxes. Well, no, doesn't outbox him, but I think just outpowers him and beats him to the punch. And you do give Canelo does have some sort of like decent speed as well. So I think Canelo just wins that fight easy.
Would it be a knockout?
Could be, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to
because he thinks that gaining 168 pounds is simply too much for Crawford to handle, and that things may go wrong for him. Although he admits that the weight difference is a factor. Caleb Plant believes that Terence Crawford's strength and unique boxing style make him dangerous in any fight. He also notes that Crawford has demonstrated his ability to adapt, and he believes that Crawford's boxing IQ and strategy could play a significant role in this fight.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat,
making it more competitive than some expect. Teofimo Lopez claims that Canelo is just too big, too strong, and too experienced at heavier weights to give Crawford much of a chance in this fight. He thinks that Canelo will eventually land a big shot that will end the fight by knockout. What round does Crawford get knocked out? Similar to Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia thinks that Crawford won't be able to handle Canelo's stature and strength. Although,
how is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized. against Canelo
Alvarez.
Yeah. But you have to use your movement if you're Terence Crawford in that fight. The last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him.
Yeah.
You know.
Garcia admires Crawford's abilities. He doesn't think he has the physicality necessary to take on a 168-pound seasoned trainer like Canelo. Terence Crawford has little chance of defeating Canelo, according to Joe Diaz's opinion. Although Crawford is a fantastic fighter, Diaz says he doesn't see anything in Crawford's arsenal that might pose a threat to Canelo in this particular meeting because he thinks Canelo's strength and size gap will be too significant.
I think skills pay the bills.
Yeah.
And I feel like, truthfully, he's not as little as people think. Like, people think he's, like, very small.
He cut weight to get to 147, 154.
Yes. Yeah. He's not as small as, like, people think. It's just he look like it.
Yeah.
So, like, if you see him in
person
and he get on a scale or something, you wouldn't believe that's his weight.
I told somebody the other day, he might get on the scale weighing like 166, 167 fighting Canelo, and people wouldn't believe how ripped up and cut up he'll still look. He won't look like he's overweight Terence Crawford. He gonna look like a solid Terence Crawford.
I think he beat Canelo though. I've been saying I remember when he fought when they fought. Go watch an interview after the fight. I literally said I think Terence Crawford would beat Canelo.
Okay, I wouldn't say that.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
No cap.
I did tell him after the Smith fight, I said, man, go get Canelo. You the greatest. Yeah. This era.
For sure.
Yeah, it's no question.
No question, yes.
Actually, back to the you and Terence working together, because you've shared everything you've learned from him. There was fans doing their homework in the Avanesian fight and in the Spence fight saying, actually, it looks like Terence may have taken a couple things from Shakur as well, not just Shakur taking things from...
Eddie Hearn has some concerns about this fight as well. He admits that Crawford is a skilled fighter, but he says the weight difference is just too great. He also contends that Canelo shouldn't get much credit for defeating Crawford at 168 pounds.
It's kind of tough, but if anybody can do it, I think it would be Terence Crawford. I mean, skill-wise, I give him, I think he's a better fighter than Canelo, but Canelo is also a great fighter but he owns that weight class that he's in. So I would just say that I think that Crawford has to fight almost a perfect fight to win, and take advantage of Canelo's mistakes.
Yeah, so we have, is it almost kind of a battle of, we have two guys, obviously the best, two of the best 3 or 4 boxers in the sport, regardless of weight class, but, which one is closer to the version of their prime, right? They're both getting older. I mean, they're both still, very, very good at this point, but, do you think maybe one of them, it's time for them to start falling off, and that might be the difference in this fight, that one starts to trail off a little bit?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, both guys are aging, and you never know. You never know when they're going to show their age. So it could be either one of them that does that. But I mean, I just lean toward Crawford because I just see the dude has so many skills, and I mean, I just see that him possibly winning the fight by decision.
Because he's defeating a naturally smaller man who began at 140 pounds. Connor. While many are rooting for Canelo due to his height, Ben sees this fight more realistically, believing that both fighters have an equal chance of winning, and that anything may happen.
Not official, but it may be a done deal. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. Early thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, look, the first thought is, can he handle the weight jump? Can he handle the weight jump? He being Crawford. Against Medvedev, people are going to say, oh, he had some hiccups. Who don't have hiccups? When you eat something that's a little difficult to eat, and Madrimov was a little difficult to eat, he's not easy to digest. He's a good fighter. When you eat something that's a little tough to digest, you get hiccups, right? So come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." But who's he beating? He unified the. What was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter. Then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter.
Ben believes it may be a very close race because of Crawford's abilities and ring savvy.